This video is to go over how to use Map Business Online to concentrate on target areas for a new franchise company. In this scenario, we're going to look at those zip codes that average over 75,000 in median income, and also we want to know populations of children in between ages 3 and 15. If I look up in the data window and I look at the zip code layer, you'll notice that I have a more data button that's in the lower right. And this will just give me an idea to take a look at what demographic data is embedded in the program. If I scroll down, I can start to see things like the age ranges. We're interested in 3 to 15, but we don't actually have it broken down that way. You can see that we have 3 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, and so on. So one of the concessions we might have to make as we're doing this is 15 to 17 is in a different bracket. But we do have tools in the program that will allow you to group the 3 to 14 together. So we're going to try to do that next. When you're creating franchises, it's good to look at something like the zip code layer. We're going to take advantage of labeling and also filtering in the data window. I'm going to just enable my states layer as well. If I want to show the accumulation of people in certain age ranges, then I want to click on the little settings gear next to zip codes, and I'm going to pull up Manage Map and Data. In here, I'm going to click on Manage Calculated Data Columns, which can be found in the General tab. I'm going to create my own field, and that's what this tool is for. So I'm going to click Add Data Column, and then I'm going to start to group these age ranges together. So I'm going to do 3 to 14. I'm going to press this top arrow, and then I'm going to give it a name. And I'm going to click Add Data Column. So now I have this new field at the zip code level. Since I'm in here, I can take advantage of labeling if I'd like. And so I can click on the vertical tab for labels, and I can click on Format Labels. If I want to see this information at the per zip code level, I'll just click on Auto Labels, and then I'm going to check my first box, and I'm going to go to the calculated field. The calculated field is the one that I just created. We'll just type in a prefix, population 3 to 14. And we also want to take a look at median household income. So for this, I'm going to leave it on demographic data. And from the pull down list, I'm just going to change it to median household income. I'm going to click Change Labels. And now when we start to zoom in, we will see that information at the individual zip code level. If it's hard to see, we can go back into Manage Map and Data at the zip code level, and we can change our labels, small, normal, or large. We could also remove the italic information as well. So we can see in this general area that we can expect 520 kids in between 3 and 14. Also, median household income is 43,000. While I'm in here in Manage Map and Data, if you ever want to see the underlying road data, you click on General, and there's a transparency bar that you can slide over to the right if you want to start seeing that information. I'm going to leave it kind of in the middle just so we can see it kind of at a national level. So that's the first step, is we created our calculated data columns and we used labeling. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a nationwide approach to this, and we're going to use our data window at the top. The data window looks like a calendar, and we're going to look at the zip code fields. If I click more data, then that's where I can add additional fields to this, and I can also remove columns that I don't want. I can highlight those, click the left arrow, they go away. Then if I want to, I can go down to Calculated, find that field that we just created, bring it over, and then bring it to the top. I can do the same with demographic data. We'll go down to median household income, which is right after the populations, and we'll bring that up as well. So now we have our set data columns with our population per zip code of what we can expect, 3 to 14, and also the median household incomes. The next thing I want to do is I want to start using my filters, and I'm going to do it by the median household income first. So the filter is at the top and it looks like a funnel. We're going to click on that, leave it on demographic data. From the pull down list, I'm going to choose median household income. This top none, I'm going to change it to greater than or equal to, and I want to use 75,000. If I click filter, then I can see in the data window that in my table there's 3,465 that meet $75,000 or more. If I want this reflected on the map, I can click this filter data on map button and all of those areas go away. So now we can kind of get pockets of the nation that might be a good place to start for a franchise company. So next we can use another filter and we can take a look at that population 3 to 14. I want to just click on them to see what we can expect for numbers. You're going to have to decide what populations you're looking for per zip code, but if I just scroll down to get a feel for the type of data that we have. Okay, so I'm going to do a filter of 5,000. So for a second piece of information, we click on that data window, the data filter again, click add criteria, and I'm going to choose my calculated field this time, and I'm going to do greater than or equal to 5,000. And you can always go back and tweak this later. I'm going to click filter. Now I can see I have 506 zip codes that meet that threshold of over 75,000 in income and over 5,000 in population. I'm going to click this button to refresh my data set. I could also just uncheck and check my filter data on map box. So now we can see a little bit better the areas. So we're looking around Dallas, around LA, San Francisco, New York, Philadelphia, up in Minneapolis as well. So if I go to Dallas, let's zoom in there. So these are the zip codes that we can expect that type of information for, anything in the shaded green. So that might give us a clue as to where the best places to create a franchise are. There's one other tool that might be useful, and that's our color code map tool. You can easily remove a color code map if you don't like where it's going, but this is kind of nice to analyze demographic data as well as our calculated data column fields. For these, I like to use a variance in colors. I make the higher totals bright and the other ones darker. Then we get to decide the ranges that we want, and so let's do, maybe we'll do 5,000 for yellow, and then we'll do 5,001 to 26 just to get an idea. Actually, I'm going to put this top one to 1, click done. So those are all areas that have over 5,000. If I wanted to, I can go back and tweak it a little bit. So let's go back and let's change that to 10,000. Change the next field to 10,001. Whoops. There we go. Now we get a little variance. We can see that the yellows could be anywhere from 731 to 10,000. The pinks are 10,000 or more. So that'll give us an idea nationwide of maybe areas that we want to take a look at. If we zoom into San Francisco, that color coding has stayed the same, and you can continuously go back to that color coding and just kind of tweak it to get the little pockets inside of these areas that you filtered. So that's just a little tip. Once you're ready, you just clear color coding and everything goes away. I hope this helps. I hope it wasn't too long-winded. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thanks and have a great day.